strange paradox that the squire of 79 Wistful Vista is a light eater and a heavy eater? The answer, of course, is that he's light when he sits down and heavy when he gets up. And here at the breakfast table, meet Fibber McGee and Molly.
Fibber McGee, strong and able, get those elbows off the table.
Oh, excuse me. Boy, these winter mornings sure put an edge on a guy's appetite.
Your appetite has always had an edge that would slice granite. Are you through with the morning paper?
Yeah, take it. It's disgusting.
What's disgusting about it? And by the way, get your spoon out of that cup.
Oh, those exports. Sending all this food overseas. It's disgraceful. Hey, got any more of that homemade jelly?
Yeah, plenty, and I'll get you some in a minute. But what's this about exports?
It's ridiculous, that's what about it. It makes my blood stand on end. 100% Americans skipping by on little scraps of food while all this stuff's being shipped overseas and... Hey, can you make me another piece of toast? Well, by George, it's just shameful, that's what.
Oh, for goodness sakes, McGee, don't talk silly. I read that article on exporting, and it said that basically only 10% of what we have for our total food production is going to be shipped overseas this year. I mean, really, when you think about it, 10% isn't very much. It's like one donut out of a dozen.
If your idea of 10% is one donut out of a dozen, you better find a new bakery, baby, because you've been getting gypped. They probably pump up the cream puffs with a bicycle pump.
I was merely trying to point out, my bulging boyfriend, that nobody, particularly you, will suffer any malnutrition from food being sent overseas.
Well, doggone it, it's the principle of the thing. All this food being shipped overseas, and no... Hey, do we have any more of this fresh Iowa sausage?
No, that was the last of it, and it'll probably be a few months before we get some more.
There, you see, no fresh Iowa sausage. All this food's being shipped overseas and being deprived of all of our food at home. It's just a... Oh, excuse me.
What are you doing?
Loosening my belt. I ate too much. Boy. Whew, what was I saying? Oh, yes. We're being deprived of all of our food at home.
McGee, you didn't even finish your egg.
Huh?
You can't be wasteful, not with food prices being so high.
Well, I can't finish it. I'm out of chili sauce. Give me another bottle, will you?
That was the last bottle.
Our last bottle of chili sauce?
It was.
Where did it all go?
Well, if you remember, you had the last of it around midnight when you had that bacon and tuna fish and lettuce and chopped onion and olive sandwich.
Yeah, but Molly, you know how much I love chili sauce. Why don't you keep an extra bottle around for emergencies?
I do. That was it. And just so you have a clear understanding of the issue, chili sauce is now about $8 a bottle. $8
a bottle? What do we have to do? Trade him a kidney for it now? Well, why don't you just get some tomatoes and chilies and whatever else you need and just make some chili sauce?
Why don't you make some?
Who, me? Well, I'll just do such a thing, Mrs. McGee. Now, let me see. Where did I see a recipe for chili sauce in here?
McGee, I was just kidding.
Oh, I'm not kidding. I'm going to call your bluff, baby. I'm going to make some chili sauce.
But sweetheart...
don't get mushy with me. You can't turn me off this time by having your eyelashes at me. Now let me see. How many tomatoes do we have?
About a dozen.
Okay, well, maybe order about a gross. How many is that? About 4 dozen?
Try 12 dozen.
Wow, perfect. That ought to make a few bottles of chili sauce.
Now, look, McGee, you don't know anything about how to make chili sauce.
Is the American Army the best fed army in the world? It is. And who cooks for them? Women? No, men. And you remember that I was a mess sergeant in the last war?
Oh, really? You were a mess sergeant?
Yes, and without the comma. Before you go downstairs, why don't you pull out a block of canning jars and the lids for them too? And order up a thundering herd of tomatoes. I've got work to do here.
Well, if you hadn't gotten greedy and eaten all the tomatoes out of the garden this summer, standing out there all day with a salt shaker, I never saw anything like it.
Oh dear. Guy just gets started with his canning and look what happens. Come in.
Good morning, Mrs. McGee. McGee.
Hi, Doctor.
Hey, Doc, take a chair. I like to see a declining position in a reclining position.
How long have you been married, Mrs. McGee?
10 years.
10 years? A decade of putting up with foul whimsy, is that? You're a wonderful woman.
The problem with you, Doc, is you haven't got a sense of humor. You wouldn't know a good joke if I bit you in the leg.
If one of your jokes bit me, I'd be too busy cauterizing it to laugh.
Oh, I tell you, Dr. McGee has some wonderful jokes. Like from back when he used to be a vaudeville type act in college.
Yeah, you betcha. Me and a guy named Fred Nittany from Starved Rock, Illinois, we had a really great act, some wonderful material. Opening one, closing the alley. We had some good stuff. Like when I would come on stage playing this harmonica without making any noise. And Fred would come on and say, "What you playing?" And I'd say, "Silent Night." And then we'd both bust into a bucket wing waving our little American flags. Ah, boy, the audience would kill themselves at us.
I can understand it. The urge would be almost irresistible.
Say, McGee, tell Dr. Gamble the one where you would say, is that clock right up there? And Mr. Mitri would say, yep, right up there. Tell him that one.
Yes, do.
Ah, sarcastic, eh? I don't know why I even talked to you, Doc. I can't imagine why I'd ever let a dumb bunny like you spray my throat for flu.
McGee.
You wouldn't know the difference between Ardrol and arsenic.
In your case, I wouldn't be fussy.
Now please, Doctor.
Dr. Mike Clavicle, you questionable quinine quarterback. You couldn't set a broken broom handle. You couldn't cool the fever of a cup of coffee with a cold north wind. You couldn't find a bone in a lamb chop.
Oh.
Why, you insulting little ingrate. When you think about all the times I've gotten out of bed just to come over here to take care of your bad case of gluttony, I've got a good notion to take a couple of your incisors down your noisy, overgrown trachea.
Oh yeah? If any incisors go down my trach... What's a trachea?
A windpipe! A windpipe! With you, it's the most active organ in your body. If the Curtis Wright Company ever hires you, they'll burn down their wind tunnels and still be able to test their clipper ships.
Why, you...
Well, you're the gabbiest, loudest, shallowest specimen of the so-called human race that I've ever had the misfortune of coming in contact with. And to think, all I did was come over here to ask you if you wanted to go duck hunting.
Sure, what time?
6:30, I'll call you in the morning.
Alright, so long.
So long, Doctor.
Bye, Miss McGee.
6 peeled medium onions, 6 seeded green peppers, 8 pounds ripe skinned tomatoes, 1.5 C graduated sugar. 1.5 C. Wonder what they mean by C. Oh, carton. 1.5 carton sugar, 4 3-inch sticks of cinnamon, garlic, vinegar, cloves. Hey Molly, where's the hatchet?
In the basement, I think. What do you need a hatchet for?
I have to chop some onions. Hey, why don't we trade at some other grocery store?
Why?
Well, this recipe calls for 6 ripe skinned tomatoes, and they wouldn't send me any skinned tomatoes. Said you have to skin them yourself. Independent as a hog on ice.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, dearie. No grocery's gonna sell you skinned and tomatoes.
Well, what kind of service is that? Next time we ask for butter, they'll likely send us some milk and tell us to churn it ourselves.
Hey, what's that stuff on the counter?
Oh, that's some other stuff that grocery did me on. Green peppers. After I peeled the skins off them, there was almost nothing left at all. Hey, give me the phone. I'm going to call that grocery and give them a piece of my mind.
Green peppers aren't supposed to be skinned.
Grocery phone's busy. That's ridiculous. Well, go ahead and take a sniff of this stuff I've already got mixed up, Molly. Don't that smell good?
It does. I'll take your recipe book if you're done with it. Do you want me to chop some onions for you too?
No, I'll peel them myself, but you can stand in front of me while I peel them if you want to.
Why would I stand in front of you?
Well, every time I peel onions, I cry, and what's a marriage for if you can't cry on each other's shoulders?
McGee, the way to peel onions without discomfort is to do it underwater.
No, there are too many of them. I can't hold my breath that long. Oh, I'll just fix them here and...